This is Dr. Von Mad, and we're about to do another dinosaur, I think. In this case, we're going to be using this, or at least part of this, and I'm going to be making a Plateosaurus, which was a prosauropod dinosaur from the Triassic. I kind of thought about all this together, so what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out and make the Plateosaurus. Now, the reason is the fact that the Plateosaurus was a Triassic species, which I think is an interesting choice considering that we've done the T-Rex already from the Cretaceous and our friend the Steg from the Jurassic. Now the Plateosaurus was a prosauropod, or sometimes they call him a plateosaurid, but I'm going to go with prosauropod because he kind of resembles that. But we're going to start by rolling this up into a ball. Make his tail kind of coming out like this. We're going to make it like a, almost like a fat snake, and then I'm going to flatten his tail just a hair. Kind of give him that sort of a, and make his tail kind of up like that. Now we're going to do the same thing on this end to his neck. And kind of do the same thing. Now, he won't have as long a neck as the much other longer necks, and he would have a little tiny but a long, very graceful sort of head. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work on the head. Now, so what we're going to do now is make the head. So we've got this skull right here, the head. I'm going to use the hook into this tool to and kind of, if I'm quiet for a second, it's because I'm concentrating. Now, we'll do the nose. And the mouth. Now, earlier depictions always showed him with a kind of a frog-like mouth, but we now know that he had cheek plate, kind of the cheek pads, much like the duck-billed dinosaurs and the sauropods that he was most closely related to, being a Saurian dinosaur, meaning lizard hipped. It's interesting to note that birds are also Saurians. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? So, let's go back over here and do let's rework this eye on this side, because I don't like the way the eye turned out. So I'm wanting let's go around here and make sure that this eye matches up on both sides here. So, first thing we're going to do, try to get this where you can see what I'm doing here. actually quite good. Now, we're going to do a little bit of work down here because I want to put some, maybe like a fringe or something coming down the spine of this guy. And we'll begin working on the legs. Now, what I like about this clay rather than the Marblex that I used to use all the time, and I still do Marblex, but it's a different medium altogether, is the fact that since you're baking this stuff, it's not going to shrink as much, I don't think. Which is definitely a plus. Okay, that eye is a bit too big. So let's shrink down this eye just a hair. Now, smooth it down. Now, okay. Now, we're going to do the same thing on this side. Kind of see where our jawline is. And do the same thing down here. Now, let's compare the eyes. The eyes are perfect. The nose is perfect. Now, close. There we go. I'm going to use this, I think, to tool that out. Now, that was way too much. I just gave him a donkey nose. Did not mean to do that. So let's rework this. Let's go with something that's not going to pull quite so much clay off. Different tool. A gentler approach. Now, let's kind of do our work with this now down the spine of this thing. Make him where he's like maybe excited about something. Kind of do this now down the body. Let's use this to do this. This was a plant eater from the Triassic, which is the first era of the age of dinosaurs. This is the reason that he's not quite as big or as overly outlandish in his design as some of them. Now, let's get some of this. I've got another block of this clay here to start working on the next part. So first thing we're gonna do is, I don't normally do this way, but we're going to this time. Let me move our dinosaur up here where you can see what we're doing. What we're going to do is we're going to make the arms on our dude here, on our Plateosaur. And then we'll kind of do the work on it. Now his arms are going to be kind of shaped like this, and he's got some really weird looking, almost frog-like fingers. It's kind of an odd thing. do that. I'll move that out here, that over here, so that I can do the same thing with the claw here, because he had some nails coming off of his fingers, and said he had some really oddball looking hands. His front legs were really strange looking things. Now what we're going to do with this one, we'll place it down here and kind of have them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have his arms kind of out like that, and now we'll seal this into place. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be right back. We are back, and I brought a couple of new tools into this race, into this game. For one, a repurposed paper clip, which I can use for a couple of different things, which I will show you. And this sculpting blade right here, which will give me a much better definement of a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. And I brought a dish of water right here to show you how to use all these in their turn. Now, the water is obviously to smooth this down and get a lot of this creases and cracks and crevices and things off of it. Not to mention wiping out my fingerprints. And it will also allow me to do... See, what I like about this stuff is, like right here, for example. We're going to use this tool right here for this, the little sculptor's hook. And we'll go underneath here and seal that into place. Now, we'll come in with this tool and scrape off this edge. Now, I'll come up here along this ridge right here. Grab this tool, which is a square loop, and I'm going to come up around here. Summer's night, somebody let a house fly in. Alright. Now, see how we did that? Now we're going to come up here, get some clay on, get some wetting on my fingers, come up here and smooth out this edge. And that'll allow me to in turn. I've seen some guys use an armature for this, but really I don't have the equipment to do an armature. Now we're going to do the front leg, or the other front leg. Now, if you can see right here, I've got him down like this. So I'm going to have the neck up quite a ways and have him where he's kind of looking to one side. We're going to turn him over now and put the other leg, the other front limb in place. For that, we're going to need some clay. We're going to make the front limb. An idea. See if I can do this around the front of you here where you can see what I'm doing a little better. I'll make the, it's going to be the arm part of it right there. I'm going to bring this down. Like I said, they got some really weird looking front paw, front legs or front feet. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come up here. We're going to cut right here, right here, and right here. Now we're going to separate each one of these in its turn. That little tiny toe will go off here. I'll pull this guy around here and put that claw in place. in later sauropods that becomes sort of an enlarged dew claw that they can use for self-defense. Got this one right here, and this one right here, which will also have kind of a claw going on. And we'll straighten that one up. Shape these claws. Now we're going to grab this blade right here. Come along here. Kind of push this up a little bit. Now, so actually, I kind of just goofed up. Gave him 2 left arms. Well, we'll fix that. It's not a biggie. Because, I mean, the limbs are still set up on that same thing. We'll just turn the claws the other way. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to roll this around here. Get a little bit of water on my fingers and kind of wet this down. And seal that off. There's a little crease right there. We're going to use the same equipment on this side to do that again, to differentiate the claws from the rest of the thing, the rest of the hand. And now, what I'm going to do is put that hand up like this, come in here and cut this down this side here, and kind of just do that between the toes to kind of do that. Now this, in turn, trying to keep this from sliding over too far. That'll do. We'll come up here, kind of. He looks a little bulkier than he should right now, but that's going to be alright. What we're going to do is we're going to heft him up like this, get a little water, smooth this in, kind of seal that up. Now, like I said, with Marblex, you wouldn't be able to get away with this because it shrinks when it dries and it would crack. But the Sculpey, you can get away with a lot of things you couldn't get away with a Marblex. So what we're going to do now is come in here. We're going to seal this piece here together. Now remember, I'm doing this without an armature, so it's freehand, and I'm by no means an anatomist. I'm no ways an anatomist. Nor am I really. I know a bit about dinosaurs, but as far as the musculature and physiology, not exactly the, best one in the world for that. See, I was going to put him down on 1 foot, which we could still do, I think. But maybe like that. But then I'm going to have this head way up like this. Or maybe a little bit far forward. Let's use this blade here to kind of crisp up the details on this thing. For example, I just rubbed out his nose. Now, come in here on the fin up here and make this kind of a fringy type stuff along the top here. Just kind of cut into it and just kind of make almost like a little bit of stuff along the back here. It's like a little ridge type thing here. And I will be trying to do a little bit of detail work on the legs. Now we're gonna roll him back over here because you can see where it's kind of looping up a little bit. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna seal this into place here. Kind of grab a little bit of this water on this loop and come in here and do that. So and his claws are trying to bend, and bendy claws not a good thing. There we go. See, he's going to be kind of like that. So now what we're going to do is make his back legs. Now remember, he's up on toes. He's not flat-footed, so some of these dinosaurs were plantigrade, but this, I believe these were digitigrade, or, you know, toe walkers. So we're going to be making the legs. Now, you got to remember, he's got a locomotion's going to be way back here, so he's going to have a really big muscle right in there. And that's going to be the upper part of the leg. So it's going to come down here, and you're making your individual joints like so. And then he's going to have, I'll make this a little bit further down, and so I can put his feet, give him enough of a thing where he can be down like that. See? Now we're going to smash these thing and wide that foot out a little bit, because he's going to have to be able to support his weight. Take our blade and come in and just kind of do this, because the toes on the back foot are going to be a little more hoof-like. And what we're going to do now is we're going to even that in, even that in, even that in, and that in. And instead of just leaving a line there, let's kind of just push that up a little bit. Like so. Now, pull up our dinosaur. See, he's going to be down like this, so I want this one here be kind of back like this, so he's kind of up like that. Now, again, wet the fingers down. We're going to come in and do this bit right here. Now, we'll be adding a little more detail to it. So he's going to have a pretty good size set of hams on him. But being a, you know, a prosauropod, that's expected. And we're going to push this in just a little bit right here to kind of differentiate that and push this muscle in, because we want it sealed up here. And we'll carve off what we don't need, so we don't want it, so we don't need it sticking up like it was actually stuck on. So what we're going to do is we're going to smooth this off into the tail. The tail needed a little more muscle anyway, and that kind of connects right in there. And we'll keep doing that along here and along here, and I'll see now then. Roll him over, grab our blade here, weight it down, come in here and just start sealing this together. Like I said, this is sculpey, and it should hold up a little bit better than the Marblex does when you dry it, when it bakes. So there you are. Now, kind of. So basically his stance is going to be something like that. Now we need to make the other foot. So let's set him down for a minute on this side. Grab us some more clay. Now if you really want to get too persnickety, you could weigh out the clay for each individual limb so you're getting roughly the same size. But we'll carve off what we don't need if I think it's going to be too much. We've got our ball. We've got this, make the leg, what I'd call the ham hock here. Now, see, if you look at it, he's going to be up like this. So we're going to want this other one kind of back a ways. So we're going to bend it back here, kind of give him a bit of a limb to work with. Then we're going to bend it here, and then back like this. See, now. And then put the, so we want that foot kind of down like that. And we'll kind of give him a bit of a, see how that looks. Let's see here. He's going to be up like that, so we're going to want this leg here kind of back like that. Yeah, that'll do it. And we'll push this up next to the body and begin working on it, sealing it in and getting all the, and start laying out the musculature. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get some clay here, or get this, we're going to work this off into the tail muscle just like we did on the other side, and seal this in here, kind of just work this into the rest of the animal. Then we'll get some water on our fingers here to kind of smooth this out a little better. Yeah, and then we'll work on the toes here. Let's see. So I'm gonna put this foot way up like this, so it looks like it gives him a little more structural stability, and kind of looks like he's a little more active here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pull this back here, smooth this out. We'll smooth out all this detail, kind of, and we'll be able to seal this into place. Use the tri-blade, but we're going to use the scoop end of it down here on the handle. This triangular blade, and we'll use that. Now, yeah, this guy was like a ancestor of the really big giants that were to come later. He's kind of a coming attraction, as it were. And that foot will stand up a little bit better once he's dried. Just gonna have to figure out how to get him to dry without bending in and club-footing like the T-Rex did. We'll probably try to put do a little bit of carving of the detail work on him when we're done. So I'll probably end up doing it that way. But we're going to get the toes in place now. And kind of see how I'm doing the toes in. Alright, we're back. I'll show you where we're at thus far. Gotta get these claws moved around. This clay is still soft, so it's not rigid like it ought to be yet. But like I said, we'll settle all details once it's dry, once this thing is hardened a bit to where we can get it where I want it. Now, where was I? I was putting the toes in place, as you can see right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here underneath, kind of just do this along the toes, kind of give him those little hooves that he needs. Now, smooth him in. pull a lot of this clay back into the tail and into the right there, like so. And kind of do that along his back. And what we're going to do now is we're going to just kind of you know, kind of just build this little ridge down his back, and that we can then keep having to recarve it because we're working with it, but it is what it is. But we're about to bake it, so it's going to be pretty well written in stone here momentarily. Now, there we go. Now, smooth out. We got a few little crevices that need smoothed out. And there's the basic sculpture. I want this head kind of like he's looking around. I want this leg back a piece and this one forward a piece. And I want this hand, this front limb, up like this, because he's basically going to be set up like this. So, and we'll put the scales and the details and stuff on him when it's hard, and we'll go ahead and do the detail work. So we're going to go bake this dude, and we'll see you cats on the flip side. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'd be glad to have you, and we'll see you then. Now, this is Dr. Von Mad, and we're about to try this. We're going to put this, as I think, is the base. We're going to be using a little kind of a bright green as our base, and then I'll kind of spritz it over with a little dark green. Now do keep in mind, all this will be covered, so I'll see if I can spackle it a little bit. Now, I have some slate gray here somewhere. Maybe go over. Tell you what, I will be back in just a minute, and we'll put a little spritz gray over this. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over this light green coat with a kind of a drab gray over the top of that. Now, I do believe I've still got some green here somewhere. Well, not quite what I was looking for. Anyway, we're going to let, yeah, that's kind of looking good. Kind of a sandy sort of granite. That's perfect. Alright, well, this is Dr. Von Mad. We're going to let this base dry, and we'll see y'all in the morning. Alright, well, we're back. We're about to do this. I was going to show you something that happened after the baking process. Let me turn on this overhead light so you can see a little bit. We had a bit of an issue that the arm, that's the front leg, the one that was supporting it in the front, broke after gluing. So we're going to do a lot of the detail work after the fact. So show you what we got going on here. I'll set this camera here. We're going to try to work around this way if I can. I may end up having to set it this way because I'm left-handed, you see. Not many people know that. So here's how we're going to do this. So we're gonna I just go along here. Grab this tool here, little scraper tool here. We're gonna, here it is, kind of. Now, let's go up this side here. Get rid of some of this right in here. What I'm trying to do here is kind of highlighting the musculature. It's going to be a little easier said than done because, like I said, this clay is rock hard now. I'll see if I can peel some of this off. And do a little bit of detail down here around the ankles. So, let's see if we can do something with it on this side too. Oh no, that's pretty good. I like that. We'll start painting it now. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with, I saw this guy do this paint job the other day, and I'm going to try it because this thing's already dark enough. I don't think it's going to bleed through, but I did bring some black along just in case. What we're going to do is we're going to start with this wide brush, and he was painting it with metallic copper. So I thought I'd give that technique a try and see how this turns, see if it works for me like it did him. I'll see if I can find his link again and I'll post it. I think it's not Kayakasaurus. There's another guy that does these models, and I do not remember his name. But we're going to see if that technique works for us like it did him. As far as this broken place right here, I'm trying to get this extra off here, but we may end up having to figure out how we're going to go over that. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to paint metallic copper. Like I said, I saw this guy do this technique with his, and I thought, well, we'll try it and see how it works. So I personally am used to painting it with the black, but we're going to try his method and see what it does. So, may have to slather a little extra right in there because that shoulder joint right there, if nothing else, I'll put some vegetation around it to cover it up. So we're going to have some vegetation in this thing. So I might just put some vegetation on it to cover it, to cover up the damage. Now, paint the head. I've got a color scheme in mind. You can see that I'll show you when I'm done getting the outer coat onto this thing what I plan on trying to pull here. We'll have to do the underside and things as an afterthought because I can't get to it right now. If I'd have really thought of it, I'd have done it first, but it is what it is. So we'll do this end, we'll do the top side and then the bottom. Stringers. Now. So we're going to try his methods and see how this works out for us. I personally think it would have been better to go with the black, but we're going to try his methods and see what it does. So we're going to let that dry for a while, and I'll show you what else we got in mind. Let's kind of see what we're doing here. See, he's up on 2 legs. We're up on like a tripod mounted stand. So I got the back perpendicular like it's supposed to be. Now what I propose to do, I'm going to use metallic amethyst here for the eyes. And maybe a color scheme of like a tiger stripe using these 3 colors. Apple barrel yellow, fresh foliage, and black. I also brought in a little bit of vanilla ice cream coloring, lime green, a little orange I thought might be good for shading. So we're going to let this dry, and the base is drying outside, so there's really nothing more I can do right now. This is Dr. Von Mad, coming at you from building a Triassic diorama of the Plateosaurus. And hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified. We'll see you in the next video, and on the flip side.